So I wanted to increase my price points, but I don't have friends or family, or I know I had to farm an area, but I didn't have any, I said, you know what? I wonder if there's a way where I can attract what I want. I'm big on law of attraction. I'm big on manifestation. It's worked. I mean, 3 of my dream cars are in my driveway. I've been places I wanted to go to. It takes some time, but, just writing things down, which I do as part of my routine every single morning. Of course, prayer and a lot of things are very important to me, but I do take that time every morning, at least Monday through Friday, and take that me time to manifest, go over my goal, just even if it's real quick, and to stay in the zone. And so I started acting as if, man, I tell people all the time, I started being, if I was selling 50, $100 million, 150, $200 million worth of property a year, how would I act? How would I dress? What car would I drive? What places would I go to? Like, I wrote all that down. And for 4 to 5 videos after that one, I rented the car I wanted to drive. And now I have it. I rented the car. People thought it was crazy.
Welcome to the Success with Listings podcast, where we help you get success in the real estate game the easy way. Now you can get off the roller coaster of feast and famine and out of the rat race of competing with every other agent in town. Hi, I'm Knolly Williams. I took over 1,000 listings during my first 10 years in the real estate game, and in this podcast, I show you how to have success with listings. Let's go.
Okay, we are kicking it off, and this is the episode that I'm super excited about. Why? Because in the house, we got my man, Dan Can. That's right. Let me just throw out a couple quick stats, Mr. Dan Can, before we hop into the conversation, because, man, I am so, this has been a long time in the making, probably a couple of years for us to really sit down and kind of hash it out that way. So Daniel R. Hunt Jr., he goes by Dan Can. He's an Instagram sensation. He's got over 40,000 people that follow him on YouTube that have already subscribed to his channel there. And that's going to be probably over 100,000 by the end of the year. This man is on fire. So Dan Can spent 8 years. The last 8 years he's been a realtor. But before that, he was an underwriter for 5 years and he was a loan officer for 10. So he's been in the game for over 20 years. And what I love about Dan is that he is absolutely crushing it, not only on YouTube, but in the marketplace. So he's not one of those agents that just you just see him and you're like, is he the real deal? I'm here to, Uncle Knolly is here to tell you that Dan Can is the real deal. What's up, my man?
Uncle Knolly, I appreciate it,
man. Man, this has been a long time coming. I've been actually here in Puerto Rico for a year and a half. And I remember when we were even trying to connect and have you over to my house in Austin, we couldn't quite make it work, but here we are. We're sitting down together, and we got to pick your brain, man, because you've done so many things right, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you very much. That means, coming from you, that means a lot.
Well, I tell you what, and it seems like you've kind of hit it out of the park. And you've hit a very specific rhythm there. We'll get into kind of your YouTube strategy here in a minute. But what made you, so you went out of, you were an underwriter, which it seems like pretty meticulous, methodical type work, okay, and kind of behind the scene, pretty much. Then you got into the loan officer role, which is kind of in the middle, like sort of you do.
Loan officer first, then an underwriter,
Oh, then an underwriter. So you went deep into the cut. And then now you just came out like so from a personality standpoint, are you more introverted, extroverted? What's your personality?
I guess I'm really a good mixture of the two. But lately now, within the probably last 3 years, I've been more extroverted because if you're not, you end up being a secret agent, and secret agents don't make no money.
Man, and you're not a secret agent. You're not.
No. Yeah. The goal is for everybody to know what I do without even introducing myself. I have a long way to go.
Yeah.
But I really feel there's a lot of realtors, in my area. It happens quite often in coffee shops and the mall. I mean, if I go on Saturday and Sunday, 5 or 6 people. Dan Can, people's realtor. Like it's norm. So I said, hey, it's great to have it local, but I want to expand it. If Ryan Serhant can do it, if the Allman Brothers can do it, if Eric Carnival can do it, I can do it too. I just have to have a plan and stick to it. So that's the goal.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute because I mean, you have a lot more subscribers on YouTube than I do.
Yeah.
And at some point, you had to sit back and say, wait a minute, I think I can do this at a bigger level. What was that point for you?
No, good. Well, that's a very good question. So, like I teach a lot of my classes, I teach classes at different brokerages and stuff like that all the time, is, just starting off with what you have. And all I had for a while was my cell phone. I think a lot of people compare themselves to other individuals, not realizing that they started somewhere too. I started with my cell phone. And one of my first $1.3 million listing for doing YouTube for 6 months came from an iPhone. And it wasn't even my phone, because I'm an Android, but it came from an iPhone. And I paid my friend $30 to come by and do some drone footage of this property that another agent had as her listing that was worth was going for $5 million. So I wanted to increase my price points, but I don't have friends or family, or I know I had to farm an area, but I didn't have any. I said, you know what? I wonder if there's a way where I can attract what I want. I'm big on law of attraction. I'm big on manifestation. It's worked. I mean, 3 of my dream cars are in my driveway. I've been places I wanted to go to. It takes some time, but just writing things down, which I do as part of my routine every single morning. Of course, prayer and a lot of things are very important to me. But I do take that time every morning, at least Monday through Friday, and take that me time to manifest, go over my goal, just even if it's real quick, and to stay in the zone. And so I started acting as if, man, I tell people all the time. I started being, if I was selling 50, $100 million, 150, $200 million worth of property a year, how would I act? How would I dress? What car would I drive? What places would I go to? Like, I wrote all that down. And for 4 to 5 videos after that one, I rented the car I wanted to drive. And now I have it. I rented the car. People thought I was crazy, but I said, you know what? I have to get in the feeling. It's not faking the funk. It's really acting as if, because, I now have that vehicle. And now I'm like grateful for it. I've had it for 3 years, and now I'm driving that and thinking of something different, just always trying to expand. But yeah, man, I decided to take it to the next level to kind of get back on course when I said, you know what, I'm gonna post a video every week. I'm gonna give it my all with whatever equipment that I have. And so it's amazing how God works, because when he sees you serious about something, he'll bring people into your atmosphere to make it happen for you, to join you, to make it happen. It'll start to get easier. Yeah, it's gonna be hard, but some of the pieces will come and it'll start to be easier. So my cameraman, who's been on my team now 3 years, man, he's been down with me. He saw that we were serious, so we started investing in some cameras and gimbals ourselves. And I remember it was probably October, about 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago, from the channel. I got my first $1.3 million listing from the channel. They reached out, made a listing appointment. I had my listing paperwork already and my presentation already, the night before. And I'm like going through all the T's, dotting all I's and T's, like, okay, I'm getting this. Man, I went to that thing and the wife was ecstatic to see me. She's seen all the videos. She even followed me on Facebook. She followed me on Instagram. I met the husband. He was like, man, we love the videos, man. We love your style. And I said, yeah. So I was like, of course, show me the house. I got to know him a little bit. So I wanted to go to the presentation. And the husband said, yeah, we don't need to see that. What do you think we should price the house at? So they had already made their mind up that they were using me. They just wanted to get to know me, show me around. They wanted to have a good time.
And it sounds like they were starstruck. They were a little bit starstruck too. Yeah.
I mean, and at that time, man, I only had like maybe, I think at that time I had maybe like 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers, so not really a lot. But I worked. Once I tell people too, and I'm gonna stop here. I worked the business. I worked YouTube like a business. I text everybody on my phone. I emailed everybody. I told everybody about my YouTube channel. Like, before I even asked them to use me as a realtor. Hey, yeah, you look okay. We had to check out my YouTube channel. Hey, go follow me right now. I would tell people right then, yeah, subscribe, follow me right now. And I looked at it as the YouTube channel and Instagram is my resume. That
Mm,
shows you who I am and how I do things.
right.
And yeah, man. And then after about the third or fourth video, I still carry leads of presentation, but I think I might have been through my leads of presentation maybe once the last 3 years, man. People just, they
Yeah.
when I get that question of what to list it at, I already know they don't care about the listing presentation.
It's so interesting, Dan, and I appreciate you going through all that because it's helping. I mean, you talked about imagination activation, how you start your day, the fact that it's not faking the funk. The reality is a lot of people are actually say, well, I feel like an imposter. Well, the reality is you living the life that you're living now is probably the real imposter. I'm talking to you listening, you live in the audience listening right now. You're making 100,000 a month, a year, when it could be 100,000 a month. Okay.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
living that life as if, and what you're saying is, Dan, you basically looked at, okay, what's my ultimate potentiality? I mean, really, who
yeah,
knows? But I know what I can, whatever it is that I reach for, I can attain. And so let me now live in, okay, just like scripture says, let the weak say I am strong, let the poor say I am rich. And the reality is we can actually attract and pull those things to us. Now we
yeah,
have to do the work. We have to
yeah.
do the work, but the work actually starts out with the vision. You had the
Exactly.
vision first. So
Yeah,
so I love that, man. You hit it for 6 months straight. You got
yeah.
that 1.3 million, 1.3, was it?
Yeah, it was a 1.3 listing, and
Yeah.
so that sold. And once I sold that, I had some other little co-listings here, but I was trying to break that million mark. I was trying to
Right.
get to that million mark because I was doing 500, 600, 700. Average price now in Dallas is like 425. So I was
Gotcha.
doing, but I knew what I was capable of, and I knew what I wanted to make, but I wanted to enjoy making. There's lots of different ways of getting. I mean, get the
Yeah.
book, guys. We haven't gotten a set list to get the book because there's lots
Yeah.
of different ways of farming and getting business. Expires
Absolutely.
for sale by owners, farming different. So there's lots of different door knocking. So you got to find out what's best for you. But this was one of the methods that made my job enjoyable and fun, and something that I knew that I could stick to and actually look forward to doing.
Right.
And so that's why I decided to do it go this method with YouTube and social media and just be as consistent as possible. That's very important.
What I love about you, Dan, is you're actually going after listings. And that is so critical. I had an agent ask me just a few weeks ago, well, is this a good market for listings? So, like, every market is a good market. There's
Everybody.
always going to be someone that needs to sell, and there's always going to be someone that needs to buy. And if you want to be the king of the market or the queen of the market of your market, listings is the name of the game.
This
And
is the name of the game. Yeah. You're
yeah,
going to get the buyers by default. If you're focusing heavily
exactly.
on listings and it's like your main focus, the buyers are going to come by default.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I heard you say, and I teach this, is that you actually win the listing before you ever meet with the prospect.
Yeah.
Okay. You win the
Yeah.
listing before you ever meet with the prospect. And it's so important, whenever
Yeah.
you and I, Dan, when we go to a nice restaurant, maybe it might be a sushi place or a steak house or whatever it is. If you're vegetarian, maybe it's even a Thai place. You're going to look up their rating, and you're going to see, what are people saying about this particular place. You don't
Yeah.
just, most people these days don't just walk in blind and just ask the waiter, hey, how good is your food here? No, no. You come in, you're
Yeah.
already pre-sold before you even not walk through the door. And because
Yeah.
we live in an Amazon, a Google age, and we can look up reviews of people. And this is what you're talking about, man, is that you actually are cutting the time down, because you start having people say, Dan, I know you're real busy, man. You think you might have time to list my house?
Yeah.
Because here's another thing, you're doing a lot of the 1 million, 2 million, 3, 5 million plus. And people that are coming to you now with their $500,000 home, or the average price 450, whatever it is, they're asking if you would do them a favor and list their
Yeah,
home. Are
and
you
that's
finding
funny
that?
you said that. Yeah, it's funny
Yeah.
you said that because I've now put a lot of some of my advertising stuff that I do all price points because I was getting that a lot where individuals were uh, just from looking at they'll price themselves out like he doesn't have enough time for me, like they
Right.
do,
Right.
because I knew that the only way I was going to be, of course I have a small team, but the only way I could do a million as a single agent, which I haven't gotten there yet, but I know I will because we're still building, and as our influence grows, the money grows, the opportunities come, the and then it brings a lot of more opportunities, like my clothing line out there that comes, or sponsorships, motivational speaking. Like as the influence grows, more opportunity flows. It's going to come. So with that being in mind, I've started telling individuals a lot, even advertising that, hey, yeah, I do price points. I have a team that does all our price points. So don't feel like, because you have a $400 or $300 house, we don't want to help you out. At the end of the day, we're still staying very humble and to what we do. At the end of the day, we want to help people succeed in whatever real estate goal they have. That's still the main goal.
It's
always
so
going to be
interesting.
the main goal.
Always, always. And it's
Yeah.
interesting you say
Yeah.
that because, one of the ways I like to phrase it with a client is say, we have a division of our company that handles that price point. So don't worry about it. We can definitely help you.
Yeah.
And and that's the beauty of real estate is you can actually have various divisions. You've
And
got your
still
luxury.
video,
Yeah,
and still do video content for their home. It may
exactly.
not be a luxury home tour,
Right.
but we
Right.
still do content and get out to our people to view it. It may be a short, it may be a reel, it may be a longer tour on Instagram or on Facebook, but we're still going to get it out and advertise it, so we can hopefully sell it as fast as possible. Yeah.
We're going to talk about your background a little bit, but we're going to do that in a minute because one of the things I really have admired about you from the beginning, Dan, is that number one, you're humble, very humble person. You're willing to share your ideas and methodology, how you've gotten the success that you have with others. So you're not like hoarding the secrets to yourself.
Yeah.
And you have an ability to partner with the right people. I mean, when I saw your videos, man, I mean, if you guys have not seen Dan Can and you haven't gone to his YouTube channel, let's just throw it out there right now. How do they look at your YouTube channel or your Instagram?
Yeah. So you can put in my name, Daniel Hunt Realtor, and I'll pop up Daniel Hunt Realtor. It may also come up as It's Dan Can, ITS Sam, DANCAN. That's also my Instagram. There's a lot of fake accounts. Of course, the downsides of it, when you get your influence, there's fake accounts out there. So there's no dashes, there's no period. It's just, It's Dan Can. That's it.
I love it. I love it. So I wanted to throw that out there. Now, don't go there now because we still got more to come with Dan Can right here. But write that down, or rewind. Later on you can go back to that piece because and we'll say it at the end as well. But if you haven't seen his YouTube channel or his Instagram, you have to do yourself a favor. Here's a guy that's absolutely doing it right. And when you look at the angles of the video, the crispness, the way the cuts are made, the music in the background, the way the shots just split, boom, 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 the action. I mean, this thing, this is TV. I mean, like at its best. Yeah. So how did you?
That's another manifestation that I have. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. Yeah. Because you found a video guy that could actually he was sort of the yin to your yang, right? Like he was able to sort of do what it was. Now, did you have to share with him, hey, here's what I want? No, go back and do it this way. No, I want that.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that.
He started from scratch. We did this, and he saw the vision and he believed in me, and I was willing to be consistent. This is something that he wanted to do. He wasn't a professional. Like I said, he didn't have a professional camera. I think some people see the channel now like, oh wow, he's always been like this. Like, no, go look at some beginner channels where the audio was terrible, where the camera was. I mean, you'll see it was a journey. But yeah, man, he was a lot of stuff we taught with YouTube University, man. I mean, from both of my podcast room, my studio here, everything, lots of YouTube research, and that's how we kind of just kept growing, man.
You studied the game. You studied the game. Yeah. So let's talk about early days of Dan Can. So talk about a little bit, have you been in Dallas, your whole life? How was your journey as a child coming up?
No, good. Well, originally from South Side Chicago. So I grew up inner city Chicago, not the suburbs. Went to Hirsch High School, 73rd and Burn. So, definitely trying neighborhood. Grew up in. luckily I have great parents that, went to church every Sunday. And if it wasn't for them, who knows what route I possibly could have went through, 'cause a lot of crazy, situations I was able to kind of get out of. But one thing it did taught me, which looking back on it, many years later, look back on it, is how to be versatile. All my teachers loved me, even though, school was always a drag for me. Like I was always a creative mind. Like I was like, I always knew like, I'm not going to need calculus. Like I don't care about this calculus. I'm not going to need it, but I would excel in stuff like, broadcasting and studio where I could use my creative mind, artwork, things of that nature. I always was like, my teachers loved me and I just excelled. And, just being able to talk to different individuals, my teachers liked me, but being able to also handle, bad encounters the right way, the correct way, and a lot of respect giving, it turned to when it went to business, I was able to make that transition because, I think I honestly feel the majority of people are really good, but some people have different ideals, different cultures, they think a different way. I think that we all live in the same world, but have different worlds within the same world, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
The way I
No doubt.
perceive the world will be different from the way, many other individuals perceive the world. So I was able to kind of understand that at a young age without actually realizing what I was doing. But that's kind of what I was doing. And it really kind of translated into business. So, yeah.
Well, so talk about this journey of entrepreneurship and believing that you actually could take on $1 million home, because a lot of agents that I talk to, including myself, I'll say it, I sold over 1,000 homes my first 10 years in the real estate business, but I didn't start doing the $1 million listings until later in the game. And because I think it was just fear, man. I was just, but what I found is actually that these clients were easier to work with. They didn't have credit problems. The money showed up on time. The wires came through when they were supposed to. I didn't have to go through the whole process with them because they bought and sold homes before. I mean, like they were just actually easygoing people. They just wanted to know that they were dealing with a professional. Once they, so talk through that process. How did you overcome your desire to say, okay, because you're really only 8 years in, and say, well, I'm just going to focus on the $300,000-$400,000 listings and that low hanging fruit. No, I'm going after the $1 million plus. Fool. That's how did that mindset come about?
Well, it was I knew that the type of money I wanted to make, either I would have to do a whole lot. I have to do a whole lot of closings and get more and more help, or I could raise the price point. And I knew that I could present myself a certain way in professional light to where I could attract the right people. And so I wanted to do, of course, like I said, all price points. But I said, you know what, and I give this advice all the time. I tell realtors, find someone that you respect, that's doing it at a level that you want to do it at, and put your own spin on it. Emulate them. I tell people all the time. Ennis Yilmiser, he does tours like no other. His name's Ennis Yilmiser. He started in California, and now he's doing tours all around the world. And I said, man, I want to do that. And then we got an opportunity to do 5 tours in Tulum. In the next couple months, we did that 2 years ago now. Now, the next 45 days, probably next 40, next 40, we'll be in Dubai. We're doing some resorts there in Dubai. And I said, this is what I want to do. I looked at all his tours. I learned different terms from Ennis, like 3-car tandem and board and batten walls and, recessed lighting. And, you shouldn't call it half bath. When you get to this level, it's a powder room. Like I would watch his tours and write down these terms. Because once you see it, you know what it is. Like, if I see a car one time, I don't know what kind of car it is, but I'm a car guy. So if I don't see a car and I don't know what it is, I'm like, what the heck is that? Once I get the name, when I see it again, I know what it is.
Right.
Plain and simple, right? So next thing you know, I've got board and batten walls in my studio now. Like I didn't know. Like, so it's just, you take what you see, and this is who I like. He's doing it at a high level. I may not be there yet, but I'm gonna do it the best with what I can, and then keep being consistent. And just naturally, it's gonna grow, man. It's gonna grow. I tell my son all the time. I said, "You're not ready for a newer car." He said, "Why? The car you keep now is always junky and dirty. You're not ready for that car yet.
Yeah.
You're not ready.
Sure.
Until you keep it up on a regular basis, then God and he'll put the things in place like, okay,
That's
now you're
right.
ready for that car.
Amen. 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 And it's always good to see people of faith prospering as well, because I preached a sermon this past yesterday, actually was as of the day of this recording, and it was you see God's children out there, and a lot of them, man, are not prospering. A lot of them
Yeah.
are some
I
are
agree.
afraid to prosper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And those principles, and I would even dare to say probably a lot of people that you grew up with are not out there doing it at the level you're doing it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They haven't even
Yeah.
seen the kind of things that you have seen. But we
Yeah.
all really have the same kind of access, if we choose to.
Yeah.
If we choose to. So
Yes.
you're really bringing up the belief, and what you keep reaffirming to me is the fact that you're a person of vision. You talk
Yeah.
about Dubai, you talk about Tulum, you talk about, and let me say this too, the fact that nobody succeeds alone. Others have lived before us. One of the surest ways of success, one of the success rules is find a mentor, somebody that, and maybe they're not directly mentoring you, okay,
Yeah.
but find somebody that you can study the game from and study the game. And so
Exactly. Yeah.
when you go in, you actually are knowledgeable, you know what you're talking about, you're calling things by the right terms, and it creates an atmosphere where people can trust you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. They see that
Yeah.
you're really into your craft. You're not some part-time realtor that's trying to make some side money. You're into your craft. And that's one thing I admired about you, man. I'll watch your videos and then when you send me the book and I went through the book and I was like, wow, these are some really good strategies and some really out of the box things and then some things you think and then someone says it a different point of view. You're like, wow, maybe I didn't really know that as in depth as I should know it. And so, the book is a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it is.
So
It
if
is.
you haven't got it, it's a rabbit hole book. It's an easy read, which I like. You
Mhm.
know, don't try to show me how intelligent and how you make me feel stupid on the book.
Right.
So it's a
Right.
great read.
Yep.
Uh, and it really kind of helps you think out the box and just really help you develop some newer ideas. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
man,
mean, I'm
it's
one of
helped a
those.
lot.
I love to study quantum physics. It's one of my favorite topics, and it's kind of the realm where God lives.
Yeah, yeah,
However, I'm one of those guys where I'm going to make any content that I put out, I'm going to make it relevant. I'm going to make it easy to consume, because I don't need to prove to you how smart I am. Now, if you want to sit
exactly.
down
Yeah,
with me and talk about quantum physics, I'm gonna geek out on that, and we're gonna have fun with it. But I'm not gonna bring it up because
right.
you may not be into that, and I don't, and to me that's love.
Yeah,
You could go there, but in love, you say, hey, how can we put this out in a way where it can be easily consumed? And those of you not watching the video version of this,
yeah.
Dan's talking about the book Success with Listings. It was God put it on my heart to write that. After I took over 1,000 listings, I wrote it, and it
Which is a
showed.
huge accomplishment. It's people, realtors for 10, 20 years don't take that many listings.
Yeah, but let me say this: I was one of those that went on the uh, sort of the let's gobble up a whole bunch instead of going. Now you're smarter than I was. Okay, I'm going to say that. I'm going to put
Really?
that out there.
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
smarter than I was because I
Yeah.
was doing 100 deals a year, and it still made my number. Okay, but yet Dan could do however he could do a fifth of that number,
Yeah.
and still make more money than I was making. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I do. I also want to do other things,
Sure.
to use
Talk
my
about it.
creative mind because I was behind a desk for so many years. And of course, I always did things. I always have entrepreneur endeavors since I was 14, man. I've always had entrepreneur endeavors, but I didn't start actually doing it full time until mid 30s. Um, uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many other things I do. Like I enjoy motivational speaking. I enjoy public speaking. It really was. I mean, I still, of course, get butterflies for the first 2 or 3 seconds when I'm talking to like hundreds or thousands of people.
Sure.
But I still like the push, and I love how people receive it because I'm being my true, authentic self. You know.
Yeah.
That's always my thing. I'm gonna be who I am, and I'm gonna say what I know, and I don't mind sharing because I already know there's gonna be a small percentage of individuals that are actually really gonna do it.
Right.
But I did my part. I
Yeah.
did my part. I said exactly what it is. I don't leave things out. Even with like a digital product that we're coming up with, I said, "Hey man, no man, the course we're gonna give it to them everything. We're not, some people do digital course and they leave the part where you really need to know, so
Yeah.
you buy the course,
Right. Right. Right.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, no man, I'm gonna give it to it everything. So you can't say I didn't tell you. Now, if you
Right.
want help, you want me to help you out. Okay, here's the more. But you have everything, and I think that's a giving. It also keeps me. It keeps you humble. It definitely
Amen.
does. It keeps you humble.
You know,
So
you talked about the fact that you've been an entrepreneur since 14. I became an entrepreneur at 12.
yeah,
And so we're tracking together that way. And I know many of you listening, you understand that you've been an entrepreneur for so long. And you're a creative person, you have all these ideas. I'm gonna throw in too that from my vantage point, you're probably the best dressed realtor I've ever seen. When you walk in the door, listen to this. When you walk in and you meet Dan Can, okay, for the first time,
I'm
he,
actually dressed down today, man. I knew I'd be talking to Knolly dressed
you
down. So I said, I'm gonna dress
let,
down today.
let me tell you what Uncle Nolly's wearing, and then we're gonna switch it over to Dan Can. We'll do Dan Can first. When Dan Can, when he walks in the door, you meet him. When I met him for the first time in person, we had talked many times over the phone before that. In Dallas, we met a couple years ago. And this man had his clothing outfit was more expensive than many people's mortgage payment. Okay, I'm just gonna put it that way. Okay, that's where he is. Now, Uncle Nolly, right now, I'm wearing an Old Navy T-shirt, probably cost me about less than $10, and then I'm wearing a pair of shorts. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
probably about the same price, but
yeah,
probably got those from Costco. And then
yeah,
I do have a pair of Olakai, which is probably the most expensive, my flip flops, the most expensive thing in my wardrobe today. But
yeah.
you're meticulous, man, with the dress. I mean, it looks clean, it looks nice, it looks you. And you got a product line now. You got a clothing line. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Daniel Hunt Collection. The website should be done here probably next week. I'll take a
Okay.
lot of, probably some private orders, but yeah, the website should be done here in the next couple weeks. I've always been into fashion. That's something I've always been into, and I got tired of wearing other people's stuff. So, and I was doing some sponsorships for I won't say any names, but for a couple of suit places that I really didn't like the customer service. People reaching out to them and not getting back to them. So, of course, that was also affecting money and customer service and my word. So, because I'm the face of this stuff, and I'm referring people. So I said, let me stop this, and I'm going to create something on my own. And people are like, well, do you? And I started getting questions like, well, do you have a line? Do you come online? Like, I want the suits that I see you on the channel. Like, or people start asking for specific suits.
Right.
Like this green, I had this one showcased by, and I have got so many people asking about certain suits. So, yeah, I connected with the Clothier, which is a company that I'm working with, and they've helped me out get the product out the way I want it. And so now we're working on the website and doing private orders now. So if you want to reach out for private orders, we can still get it done for you with your measurements. But the website will be complete here within the next couple weeks. We're taking another photo shoot actually in 3 days, and that should be the final photo shoot. And yeah, we're going to roll it out, and it'll be on the channel and a link. And so you can buy your suits, and eventually we'll expand to more and more clothes. But right now we're starting with suits.
Oh man, it's just beautiful. I mean, just to see how your mind works. Once you get that T-shirt line going, I'm all in. You
Hey,
you know, a lot of you listening. I moved to Puerto Rico a year and a half ago, and it's nothing but like right now. I'm looking at the ocean out here, and I
yeah.
went for a walk on the beach this
Look to
morning.
my Tulum wear, man. This ain't nothing but a
That looks
practically.
good.
I got shorts on here, man. It's just
That's how
probably
we do
nothing
it.
but a $60 short set.
Yeah.
I got some nice gym shoes on, so yeah, man.
Well, I tell you what, man, and Dan will tell you, Uncle Nolly's been at him because here's a man that, when I connect with people, It's like I connect with, and especially for this podcast, I only invite people that I'm either in business with or would love to be in business with if the opportunity ever arose. And Dan Can is just one of those guys that, golly, if I just, you talk about manifestation and vision, just vision itself. I say, well, golly, if I had a guy like Dan Can in the can, forget about it. It's over.
The only reason why was with I having to be, very honest with you to join Kelly, where they've been really behind the brand. I've been a couple of the brokers and they haven't really put it by. But I'm telling you, man, if I ever was, man, if it ever did, I'm telling you, man, you'd be the first person I called. I
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Well, I want to
combination.
Yeah. Well, here's what I want to talk about next, because I want to talk about what's next for you. You're a visionary. I mean, for whatever you feel comfortable sharing. Like, what do you see on the horizon? What's next for Dan Can?
Well, realistically, once you make 100,000 a month, $1 million seems possible. I think once I made 100,000.
Hold on a second. Yeah. Once we got to stop right there. Just hold that thought. Yeah. Once you make 100,000 a month, $1 million seems possible. Did you hear what he just said? Yeah. All right. we got to let people process that. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you do it, that was just for me. Yeah, maybe not for everybody, but that's for me. So when I made 100,000 a month, and I said, and of course I was writing it down, but I really wasn't paying attention. I was just head down, doing stuff, And then I didn't realize it until, to be very honest, I didn't realize really until I got my taxes. I saw what I made for that year of taxes. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and I went through it in great detail. Like, wait a minute, I made this much money. Like, and this is not even. I had systems in play, but they weren't. I wasn't even as systematized that I should have been.
Right.
And it still happened. So I'm like, wait a minute, I got to get more organized. I got to get more help. I got to get more people into my vision because, so, and then I did it and I realized I did it again. So now I'm like, man, you know what? Maybe I can make $1 million in a month. So I really started putting down the strategy of how can I eventually, even if it took me 4 or 5, 6 years or whatever,
sure,
how could I eventually make this my norm? And I said, you know what? The only way to do it and still have somewhat of a life is to get people to work with me. So my friend Brian and Jovan, they get a small percentage of my speaking engagements. So they help me book different speaking engagements. So I have my fee there and they get 15% of that. Nice. They pay half up front. They get their 50% right away. And then, of course, I get the rest when I'm finished. That's a business, though, within the YouTube.
Sure.
YouTube is the main vehicle, the main engine. But you go to descriptions for speaking engagement, for collaborations, for all the things I do, call me here.
Right.
And they can get that. You got the clothing line. That's another business.
Right.
That's another business. Yeah. And it's all coming. I tell people you can make it easy because it's all coming from the YouTube channel. So the influence grows, those businesses grow, they go to the descriptions, they see what else I offer. But I'm talking about real estate because that's the main engine. But people click on it. They want to be a part of it. So you have sponsorships. The sponsorships get larger. They got to pay for the sponsorships, So right now I have 6 businesses within YouTube that work for YouTube. Digital products. We're working on the digital products. That's another separate business. I have Nehemiah and his team helping me develop that. I meet with them once a week. We're developing more of the digital products. We can, perfect that, put the systems in place, we perfect it. So I have different individuals taking pieces, taking percentages of it, and so I can grow these business. It really happened by accident. It would really start with just maybe the clothes and in real estate, and then I started getting people, hey, can you speak to our brokerage about what you're doing? I said, okay. And then once I went to Arlington brokerage, Keller Williams brokers. I talked to a couple of car companies. Now I got asked for to Rockwall and Dallas, and then Fort Worth. I said, wait a minute. I'm doing this stuff for free here. I said, I got something here.
Yeah.
I got, and I'm always watching Eric Thomas, ET, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. They pay him to go places.
Right.
So then the light bulb's like, oh, I got into business, and that's how I came into play. So that's my strategy. Because of real estate now, I have 6 different businesses that have other people help me out, and I'm still only doing my thing,
Yeah.
which is YouTube.
It's so interesting that I know when I just turned 54.
Man, you can't tell it, man.
Well, I appreciate
You
that.
can't tell it,
But,
man.
but I remember, I'm thinking back as you're talking, when I was 29 years old, I was making $150,000 a month back then. I mean, we're talking
Yeah.
over
Oh,
20
wow.
years ago. And I've made millions and millions and millions of dollars since then. But the reality is, I mean, and because people are like, man, what's this guy talking about? How can you make that kind of, like, is that kind of money even possible? But
Yeah.
here's the thing that because there's a lot of agents out there struggling, man. I mean, you and I are having a great conversation. I mean,
A lot.
we're living a dream, bro. Like we just I mean, we're working, we're doing our thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you're using leverage, which is super smart. It's the topic of my latest book, 3 Hours a Day, where it talks all about how to create leverage in your life to where there's other people that can do most of the stuff that you're doing. But you here it is, you're a person with a vision. Now,
Yeah.
let's look at this. Will never happen. Okay. But if everything was taken away from you, do you think you could build it all back up again?
Definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I don't even worry about that.
Right. Because
Because
go
because
ahead. Go
because
ahead. Talk
That's
to me.
I tell I and that's a great question because people have asked me similar questions like that. And I tell people
Mhm.
like this: my vibe attracts my tribe. That's why I'm on the phone with you,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Whether you like Obama or Trump, they don't care. Obama and Trump going to do their thing. Why? Because their vibe attracts a tribe. Whether
Mm.
you like Kanye West or Usher, or if you like Tom Cruise or Denzel, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether you like them or not. They have enough people who resonate with their vibration and their frequency.
Mhm.
So something I will do today, I would get right back in front of that camera,
Yeah.
even if I start from zero. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be looking for me.
That's true. That's true. And see, and this is what happens when this is what happens when you create a culture, you create a brand, and you become an influencer.
Yeah,
A lot. It really creates within you the need to be the desire to give back and leadership.
yeah.
Because a
And
lot of people shy away from
people are
them.
going to ride with you. You're going to get that group of people that are going to ride with you no matter what, unless they find you did something just really crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to want to have to see it
Yeah.
or get some type of validating proof. Like you're going to get some ride or die individuals.
Yeah, yeah, and you talked about vibration and frequency. I mean that you hit it right on the
Well, now
head.
I'm going on the physics
There
side,
you
but we'll talk
go.
about that. We can talk about that offline.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. We can go down the rabbit hole. What
Yeah,
we didn't really get into here, and it's what agents really love, is the specifics, the tactics, the specific strategies, and all that. And the reason I didn't, we could do it on a part 2 if we need to. But the reason I didn't is because just like you brought up earlier, there's 100 ways to do this. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
But it really, really all starts with the right mindset, the fact that you believe in yourself, the fact that you start your day the right way, that you have goals and vision, and that you just move forward in the vision of what God put you here on the earth. And you said it, you saw something bigger than what you were leaning into, and you went ahead
yeah,
and accepted that,
yeah,
so
yeah.
talk right now, Dan, to the agent out there that's listening. And man, they're struggling. They can't put a deal together. The pipeline's dried up. They talk to me. They're like, man, this business is hard. You don't know what. So talk to that agent for just a
Well,
minute.
your mindset needs to be, things can be hard or things can be easy. Making money is easy.
Mhm.
Whether you really believe it or not, you need to be telling yourself into 100,000 times a day until you actually believe it. Money flows where energy goes. Call me crazy, but I feel the money right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that have my money, and I
Yeah.
need to give them something of value to where I can get my money. I tell people all the time, like I'm never broke because I feel the money. It's
Yeah.
so much money, right? So you
Yeah.
need to get into the frequency of that. Now, have I always thought that way? No, I have not. It took some time to really delve into. I mean, I was, I didn't, but people, I mean, I'm big on invest. I'm big on investing. I like seeing my money grow. And I take now to the point where I say to myself, this to be honest, man, how can I save 50% of my income and save and invest it? And I never thought it'd be possible. But I said, I have to make more money. I have to make a lot more money because I still want to go out to eat when I want to do. Like I don't want to live my life not having the $7, $8 cup of coffee because I need to save it to invest it. I don't want to do that. Now, every teach your own. If you want to do that, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's strategy. But I don't want to do that. I'd rather make a lot of money, drink coffee, whatever I want to coffee, do, and still put aside $10,000, $15,000 a month. So that's what I want to do, or more. So you have to really sit down and see what it is you want to do and get in the frequency of that. If the people around you, if you need to have a serious, I even told one of my friends, I think you need to have a really serious heart-to-heart talk with your wife. You guys are not on the same frequency. You're trying to break out of this limited mind belief, and she's just not there. So you guys need to go to counseling, talk to your pastor, whatever you need to do, because we are who we are. I mean, we are the 5 closest people around us. Your wife gotta be on board. My friends gotta be. There's some friends on here. They know who they are. I've done so many talk like this. We don't talk about it because y'all got broke mindsets. You're not taking care of your body. You're not taking care of your body. It's okay to, I have cheat day, but my cheat day is Sunday. I eat for energy.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. You're such in good shape too, man. I mean, we try to keep that shape.
Yeah, man. I mean, I gotta stay in them suits, man. I can't afford them. I mean, those things are tailor made, man. I gotta look good in the suits. I gotta sell the suits. But
it's so important.
Yeah, you got to tell yourself that it's easy. You got to tell yourself that money is easy, and really stop being somebody that you're not. There's a realtor. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but I think he's in San Antonio, and he's called he goes by I forgot his name, realtor, but it's not my style. I don't maybe suggest it, but he has very vulgar language. Sometimes he curses some of his videos, and I mean, he's a funny guy, but he has a different style, which, but he's getting deals. His influence is growing. Whether you like him or not, that's what I tell people, whether you like him or not, he may seem offensive.
Yeah.
Some people like Gary Vee. Some people like Grant Cardone. Some people say they're offensive, but they're growing their following, and there's enough people out there for them to be successful.
Right. You don't have to please everybody. And what you're saying is it's okay to be somewhat polarizing if that's you. Don't be who you're not.
Don't be who you're not.
Yeah.
Because some people say, "Oh, well, I need to be in a suit," and I tell some people, individuals, well, it may help, it may not help. But if that's not you, you need to find who you really are.
That's
Put it out there, even if it's on the phone. Are you being yourself on the phone?
That's right. That's right.
Yes, of course there are some. Get the book, guys. Get the book. Get the listings. So of course there are some techniques and stuff like that. You need to. It's good for sale to use. Some things are kind of just the model. But are you being someone that you're not on the phone, even if you're not in the camera? People can feel that. Yeah.
They absolutely can. We're wired the way God made us. We can actually feel the vibration of another individual, whether we know it or not. And it'll be things like, man, there's something's not right about that guy, or something's wrong with, but we can't put a finger on it. And it's just that the energy, the vibration doesn't connect, So is there anything, I know we've gone probably a little bit over our scheduled time, but this has been a great conversation. I know it's been a bit broad. We didn't get into specific strategies, but I will tell you, if you want to learn what Dan Can is doing, let's repeat that again. How can they get to your YouTube channel, your Instagram?
Yeah, YouTube channel is Daniel Hunt, just like it sounds, DANIEL, Hunt, HUNT, Realtor. Or you could put in It's Dan Can, ITSDANCAN, in both YouTube and Instagram.
I love it. So what have we missed? Is there anything that you feel like we should have talked about, Daniel, that you want to just throw out, or it's itching for you to say, hey, let's just talk about this briefly?
Yeah. Success comes with discipline, not motivation. Motivation comes and goes.
Okay, say that again.
Success comes with discipline, not
Mm,
motivation.
mm.
Motivation comes and goes.
Wow.
So
Wow.
whether I'm feeling good or not, I know we postponed this, but whether I'm feeling good or not, even today, at some point in time, I need to do this podcast. I told Nolly I was doing this podcast. I respect Nolly. I respect who he is. Discipline. I'm doing this podcast today.
Right.
I didn't feel like getting up this morning because I didn't sleep well last night to go work out, but I went and worked out. Right? I didn't feel like it. The snooze call went out. I did not feel like it, but I went and got it. But me doing that, I felt amazing today. Like I felt amazing. I'm so glad I went to the gym. So we need to really get to the habit of doing things, even if you don't feel like it. Get out of your feelings and be disciplined. That's what's really helped with the YouTube channel. I got a lot of videos on there, guys. I got videos everywhere. I mean, you think I felt the best all the time? No, but you get into the feeling because you're doing it. You get in your mojo. You got things going in your mind, but you get to the feeling. So yeah, work on the discipline, not always being motivated to do it. Of course, we need motivation sometimes to do a kick to get started, but really work on being disciplined. And money flows where energy goes, guys. If your energy is bad, money wants to be your friend. It needs to know that you want it in your life. It needs to know that when you get it, you're going to do right by it. You're going to give back to others. You're going to give to charity. You're going to give part of it back. That's what money is used for. It's used for as a tool to do good and bad.
Yeah.
But, money needs to know that you respect it and you want to be friends with it. If not, if you're afraid of it, or you're saying that it's not easily come, then I'm telling you, it wants no part of it. Money is not the paper it's on. It's not the paper it's on. Right. But I know that we're getting to a deep talk.
Yeah. I know.
But I
But
don't want to get too big into it.
yeah. But
this is money. This what we're doing here is money.
Yeah, that's right. And as you said that, the analogy I had in my mind was like a puppy dog. A puppy dog will come to certain people. I remember this one little puppy a neighbor of mine had, and he would just love on me, just jump all over me and my wife. But there was one particular individual who used to take care of my mother-in-law. He wouldn't go anywhere near her, and we couldn't figure out what it was. There was an energetic thing there of I don't know what it was. But and I vision money that way when you were saying that money's like, oh, I don't know if I can trust myself with her. Oh, this one, yeah, let's go. And really, I love the way you put that because I've never heard it put that way. Beautiful.
Yeah,
man. Well, there you have it, Dan Can. I told you guys this was going to be a fire episode, and it absolutely is. It absolutely was. And this is one of those that you want to go back and listen to over and over again because Dan laid down some nuggets that you absolutely should impress into your subconscious so that it becomes easy and effortless and life for you becomes more of a flow. It becomes ease and flow instead of the hustle and grind. And that's how it can be.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love that. Yeah.
All right, Dan. We'll chat again soon, man. Like I said, I'll be in your neck of the woods in a few weeks, and we can.
It's like I won't be able to touch. I won't be able to see you, because you're really in and out. But
I'm in and out. But that's how we do it.
I'm coming. Like I said, man. I got a couple of friends in Puerto Rico, but I got a friend in Puerto Rico, so I need to make that trip, man.
Yeah. Dan had texted me. He says, I used to have a friend in Puerto Rico. I said, well, I still live here. Yeah. Love you, bro. Yeah. Love you, brother. Thanks so much.
You too, man. Take care.
Well, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Success with Listings podcast. If you are serious about taking your real estate career to the highest heights, making more money and helping more clients while working less hours and spending more time with your family, be sure to get your copy of my free book, Triple My Listing, absolutely free at successwithlistings.com. Now, you want to be sure that you subscribe to the podcast and check out successwithlistings.com to get your copy of my free book. Hey, I'll see you on the next one.